Hey everybody, and welcome this week to Amnesia, a machine for pigs. Now this is the second in the Amnesia series, but they don't get ordered chronologically like Amnesia 1, Amnesia 2. This is just the second one that came out, and then this is a continuation of the story, sort of, but only has sort of cameos of characters from the first game. Amnesia: The Dark Descent. We're opening up here with a new game. I have played this before, not too long ago, and I also wanted to make sure that everything worked correctly, so you'll notice that I have a save. It doesn't matter. We're going to be playing through the entire game, start to finish, from the new game. I don't think there's any DLC to contend with on this one, so I don't even have to discuss it. The only other thing, yes, I'll be quiet for some parts of the story and cutscenes. So anyway, with all of that, I think we can begin a new game.
Daddy, please don't kill me.
Alright, so we've got even less to go on in this game than the last one, I think. At least last time we knew our name was Daniel, but if you take those little kids running around's name take their word for it, our name is Daddy. Well, I guess probably to them anyway. Alright, so opening things up here. Now, we're going to be talking a lot about kind of the shortcomings between the games, and at the same time, I do think that there's some really interesting storytelling in this, and I'm also probably not going to say anything that hasn't been said over the last 10 years or so. So our character here, I can't even remember our name, but I'm sure we get told it here fairly soon. He's talking about the death of his wife. Now, I'm not going to just drop all of the story here all at once, but the pieces that we can glean from places as we walk through them, I certainly will. In this, we're talking about our wife, who had a kind of rough birth, and she had 2 sons on the day that she died. So she was giving childbirth and then they passed away. Now, I don't think that there's anything to be seen here in the restroom, just another place that we can walk through. Very affluent house, but I think I mentioned the same thing sort of in the last game whenever, the Amnesia: The Dark Descent, whenever we were going through that castle. I was like, damn, what a very fine estate. If it wasn't for the fact it was crumbling and had monsters and shit in it, it'd be very pretty. Anyway, I think most of these rooms are locked and or completely useless to us, including this one that just opened here. I'm pretty certain that there's not even so much as notes or anything. So we're chasing children kind of around the house. I guess I should probably show that this door doesn't work either. Instead, there's, I don't know what these are called. Maybe pull strings? I'm not so certain. We've got one for the attic in my house, but I can't remember the name of it. We'll notice around the house that there are like these little, I always kind of assumed that they were sort of like luchador masks, but, well, maybe not assumed, but thought that they were, but I don't think that's quite right. So this game trades maybe that's not the best word for it. Let's read this first. So this is Edwin and Enoch. That is our son, the twins. Daddy says there won't be a Christmas this year. He's too busy. The nanny says we must not disturb him. Now, don't worry. I just kind of want to, like, summarize this stuff. There was a pig in the garden. We heard it snuffling about. Daddy came and said to come inside straight away. So already we're getting some kind of sort of weird allusions to pigs, and not so much. I had already mentioned these like luchador masks. Now, I also think they might have something to do with Aztec architecture, which we'll see here soon enough. Now, I was saying this game trades a lot of. It's sort of so, like, we don't have an inventory. Like, I just hit the inventory button, like you could tell, but we don't have an inventory. Instead, we kind of have like the stuff that we'll carry around by hand, and then we have our torch, I guess it's called, as oh, I'm hung up on the wall. We have our torch, as it's called. I can equip it, unequip it. This game also, they cut back in a big way on the enemies. At least so far as I can tell, like, having, as I mentioned before, now played the game. Now, I didn't play these games until this year, 2025, but I was always, like, kind of aware of them in passing, and I knew a lot of people really didn't like this game, but I didn't know for the longest time why. Now, this looks like the twins' room. Surely they don't share that bed, and surely they're too big for that pair of beds, so I don't know. Anyway, maybe this is like our room. Very big house. Or maybe this is the nanny's room, of which we read that note from. I guess it doesn't really matter. We're just kind of feeling out the place here at the beginning anyway. I still feel like I'm like speeding through this playthrough, but I really haven't made it any progress yet. Anyway, walking down the steps, I think that as we kind of progress around, I can like maybe catch glimpses of the twins as they run around as well. Now, like I said a few times, I'm going to let audio play out. This is the only, like, whatever phone that playbacks audio that I'm going to let play for here and now.
You don't mind if I record this, do you? I find it most useful.
Ah, you have one of those wonderful Martin bills. No, of course not, my dear fellow.
It's my own design, Professor, along with everything you see.
Most useful. You understand, of course, why the Ministry sent me. That they have concerns.
All right. Well, I guess that's all that they had to say about that. So some kind of professor was sent here. I don't know. I like to understand the story of this, which is funny because there are still parts of the first game's story that I really don't understand. But this one I actually kind of came to understand a lot better than I did the first one anyway. And this one, like I was saying, is really cool in terms of like what it's bringing to the table from the first game. I just wonder... I think people probably didn't like how much they stripped down the gameplay because we don't have an inventory. We don't have to manage like our sanity anymore. It's literally just puzzles, HP. And then this is another, like anytime we get a telephone call, I'm going to let that play for the most part.
Hello? Precious eagle cactus fruit. Help us.
You didn't really give us much to go on there, but that's okay. If you maybe played my last game, you might, saw me play the last game, you might know I was kind of a big fan of like the physics side of things. So this was a painting that was locked, you might have noticed as we came in, and I moved the hunting rifle, and so it opened it up. Now, the character we play as is an inventor. And there's another word for what I'm thinking of specifically, but like he's like an inventor, he's like a mechanical type of fellow. I'm not going to read each and every one of those notes. I might read the dated ones actually, but that one seems like a log about like clockwork in the soul and stuff like that. So probably some kind of like manic musings by somebody, and I don't really want to hear that if it's not too relevant to what we have going on, like drawings and etchings and stuff. This was the restroom that we were in before, so you can kind of see that there are like, what do they call them, one-way mirrors all throughout the house. I can't remember why that's ever the case, but the other word, I can't remember what I was thinking of, but like an inventor, a designer, an innovator, because we heard on the tape he was talking about like how he created this is it called a stenographone? Wow, that's embarrassing. That's one of those words I should know. Anyway, fingers crossed that my game doesn't crash, because that was an issue I had with this game before, and I didn't take the preemptive measures for this playthrough to fix that, so fingers crossed. In Lily's honor, this is of course our wife. 4 glassy orbs fixed upon a point in heaven. Wipe down your trousers, man. There's blood and sweat, something other. Anyway, as most people do whenever a beloved one passes away, he's a little bit disheveled, even for the funeral. We can run, but there's no danger yet. Like I said, the danger is actually very few and far in between this game. If you can believe it, this game features something akin to a boss fight near the end of this game, which I will say I was charmed by. Maybe I'm coming off as I don't know, I don't know what the word would even be called, but I don't mean to, like, somebody who's, like, using words bigger than they should, just to kind of fit the vibe of this area. Like, again, as we already mentioned, like, a very affluent type, building and shit, like a mansion, obviously, that this character lives in. Oh my goodness, what a flash. I don't know, there's, like, beating sounds, like somebody getting the hell beat out of them, and, I'm just kind of looking around, because I don't really think that besides like notes and stuff, there's not really anything that we're going to miss kind of progression wise. I do think we have a telephone here that we might be able to answer. Oh, you're lovely. Hello?
Mandus, do you know me?
Who are you? Where are my children?
Trapped, Mandus, far below us. The machine is fouled. It is breached. It is flooded. The bulkheads are down. The children are engaged. If you help me, I can help you release them. Restore the power, Mandus. Drain the flooding and restart the great engines.
How? Where should I go? Hello? Hello?
You know what this game reminded me a lot of the very first time that I played it? It reminded me of BioShock. And I wonder if my viewers will also kind of get that vibe too. Now, here's another one of those like little machines. I'm not going to sit there and go through every single one of those in the game. I am going to go through all the phone calls because they at least progress the story. But anyway, that's just so you know. We're working our way down here, so there is a way that we can go here outside of this door. We'll go that way later. I got kind of like in my mind anyway, like a way that we're going to go. I am to have a visitor, the distinguished professor. Is that the letter A? He has come to ascertain my mental well-being after my prolonged absence from the club. So, we're like an educated man of some sort, and some kind of a university is sending a professor to, check in on us after, we've been absent from what they're calling the club. And so it's just to ascertain like how we've been doing after the death of our wife. Now, I can't remember what kind of, bearing that person has on like terms of the story or whatever. I love these old paintings. I'm just kind of a sucker for I don't know. It's so fortunate that like I could get this painting and I could put this in my house for probably less than $10, which is crazy to me. Could you imagine like back in the day, like not even giving like I don't know, like half of a loaf of bread back in the day for a painting like that? Like, oh my god, how fortunate that would sound. No, instead you probably had to pay like 75 pieces of gold to like some artist and then wait 8 months and then wait for another 3-month delay. I don't know the best way to explain kind of what's going on here in terms of puzzles. Now, I'd said that I played through this not that long ago, and I did that for a very deliberate reason, and I would say that the puzzles in this game are kind of obtuse. Now, we'll get our first glimpse of the enemy in this game, but he's not going to actually attack us. It does give a little bit of foreboding and, like, I don't know, foreshadowing in that whenever the enemy's around, he'll fuck with the electrical stuff around us, which is about half important. So I would guess that I would guess that this is probably where his wife died based on the dialogue that he's giving now. He's like saying some stuff about like, he washed and washed, but it didn't do any good. He can still smell like, the blood or whatever. And I mean, I'll show those off. I guess really there's no reason for me to even bother picking them up, but just in case my viewers are interested in, pausing or reading those, that would be, half worth it to them. So no reason to actually go that way. We'll instead follow this little blood splatter out to this way. So, there are children running through a gate up ahead. I don't know how well people will actually be able to see this. I was looking at another long play of this because I wanted to see how long this game was before I even bothered to play it. And it looks so much better when he was playing it. And I don't really know why, because I'm not really doing what I would think anything wrong here. But anyway, we're in some kind of like a trophy room now. And this is, if we follow this way, this is the dining hall where we were in and got flashbanged earlier. So we can continue out here, and I believe that most of like this door should be locked. Yeah, we can't go through it, and I think that this is another one. They've got these really fancy kind of locks that you just know you're not going to go through, but this here, you can see there's like some scratching on the floor where we can move this bear out of the way. I won't pretend like I noticed that the first time that I played the game. That's the first time that I got hung up, was right there. I was actually getting a little bit perturbed with this game at this point whenever I first played it, because I don't know, something about it was kind of giving me a little bit of a headache. And now, having said all of that, the way that we saw those children go is actually where we're to go to now. But if we were to take the alleyway door that we had seen before, we'll notice that it is now blocked off by iron bars. So instead we have to go to where we received our second phone call. And there was like a way we could go into it from there. I don't think that I even mentioned that there was a door there we could interact with, but that's just fine because this is going to be a sort of fever dreamish type playthrough. I kind of half anticipate waking up tomorrow and being like, I have to edit what? Oh my god, huh? Okay, I'm off to market. I'll cry all the way home. I like this because it's obviously like the wow, what is even that? It's like the stuff you do for little kids, this little piggy went to market, this little piggy stayed at home, this little piggy ate roast beef, this little piggy had none. Anyway, we'll see the twins throughout the entirety of this game. I think that there is definitely something to be said for if you start seeing apparitions of loved ones. Now, granted, of course, I guess we don't necessarily know that they're apparitions, but I know that I've never well, I don't know. The only person in my life right now that's this young is my niece, and I almost said I've never seen her move quite like that, like where she's running all around the house, but that's a complete misguidance. Oh my god, she's a ball of fire whenever she visits. There's so many times I've been in my house, and I've been like, sorry, I got thrown off by the pipe there. There's been so many times I'm in my house and like I hear her run through the kitchen and I'm like, oh, that's lovely. She might be getting some gummies as a snack. And then like I hear the door open and I'm like, I'm sorry, what are you doing, little lady? And I have to chase her outside. She's always such a spitfire. And that's what, I guess kids could be like that. Now, granted, we'll come to figure out that this place is very deadly and dangerous. So not the kind of place that I'd want her to ever be, but that's where the twins are, supposedly are twins, so we gotta hunt them down. Anyway, getting back to the game here, it's just we don't really have much going on right now, so, I'm trying my best to... I hate talking about real life while we don't really have anything going on, but here we are. We see some of the electricity fucking up, and we've got another phone call to take. You're on the line with Dr. Dirk, go ahead.
The shaking ground you feel is our attempts to clear the floodwaters. Treachery, Mandus. We were undone. Your children are trapped by this act. You must find them before it is too late.
What do you need me to do? How can I find them?
Always deeper, Mandus. Through the piston room and into the tunnels. Then find the bilge and flush the rotten water. I will help you where I can. But you must be swift, my little friend.
I think there's something to be said for like the old sort of technology that we're in, because I was talking earlier about like how this reminded me of BioShock and stuff, and I certainly feel that way even now when I replay through, because like the old technology, and then also kind of the way we're getting led about by the dick. I can't remember. I mean, BioShock is now what, like probably, I don't think 20 years old, probably like at least 15 years old, and it like the whole time that you were playing it, at least anyway, in my opinion, felt like you were getting led around by the dick. And of course, that's by the design, would you kindly and all that. But let's see, we've got a blown out fuse. So we're going to need to run and get that. Once again, if you were a big fan from the first game of the little bit of sort of physics puzzle solving that we had to do, this is kind of the same way. And I don't even know that calling it physics puzzle solving is really the best way to go about it. Now I do want to check out this room, but I'll lay that fuse down back there just in case. So I don't forget it. And like, I've got it in my mind right now where it is. I also don't know what we're lowering here, but I can only imagine that is progression. Looks like I dropped a ramp of some kind way out there. Maybe might be relevant here soon enough. Anyway, picking up the fuse now, we can plug it into here and hopefully refire up the whatever kind of electrical works we've got here. I'll say at a certain point, the sound design of this game was starting to give me a headache. Oh, wow, excuse me. Was starting to give me a headache because it was just loud machinery. And let me tell you, I was never a fan of that growing up, loud machinery, and I'm certainly not a fan of it now as an adult. So I don't know about a whole game full of just loud machinery. And it never really felt creepy. I don't know if anybody feels like eeriness whenever they're around like just machinery and the creaking and the moaning and maybe like the about to explodness and stuff, but I never have. It's always just been annoying to me. So we've got kind of like an odd switch here that's going to drop these barrels from above us so that we can climb up this little ramp, if you remember where we did the little pulley system. I'm trying to just, wow, it sort of feels like I might have already got myself stuck. Nope, no, we're lucky enough not to get stuck there. All right, so we're headed up the ramp now. Now, I don't think that, well, I guess there's a switch here, so who knows what might happen. So there's another thing that's on. I guess we'll go up this little ramp here and see where it takes us. Our name is Mandus. We saw from the number of times we've talked to the man on the phone. Always apprehensive about somebody who knows your name when you don't know theirs. Although I suppose if you're a public figure, which we'll come to figure out that that's us, but I don't know. If somebody recognizes your voice over the telephone, maybe then you can be apprehensive. Oops, I accidentally fucked with the physics, something hard there. Anyway, this little gate was locked until we powered that thing, so again, even though we're going to get like, you know, sort of, I don't know what the word is called. Like, we'll see the monster several times coming up. Like, it's going to be a little bit before he's ever a problem. And that's another locked gate. Like I said, maybe this will look better on the playback footage than it does like just to play. But like right now, it just feels like darkness with a light filter over it. So, lovely. Another blown fuse. Okay, and a very loud crash. Maybe there'll be something through this door, another set of fuses or something. Nope, it sounds like maybe I got a monster behind me. Well, if I do, I'm gonna at least make him fight for it. Alright, headed down now. Oh, there's a note. August 19th, 1899, von Reichenbach, Rights of the Odic Force. What's all this shit I don't understand? Oh, my dead darling Lily, it is too late for you, but I promise this, I will save our children from death, and if need be, I will wrench them back from the blackness with this wonderful concoction. I don't know. Like I said, I know the story of this game, but like certain things that they say, even now kind of feel obtuse to me. I've never been a guy, we picked up that note earlier that had like some poetry in it. I've never been a guy who's really all that big a fan of poetry, especially in video games where like you use it to decipher the story. And I'll say it because I really haven't found good poetry in a game like that. I'll tell you a game that has beautiful storytelling in the mini stories that they tell. I don't know how many of you were a big fan of Xbox 360 RPGs, because those are like kind of right around this time, I would say. My two favorite are Blue Dragon and another game called Lost Odyssey, I think it was called. Lost Odyssey for the Xbox 360 was extremely beautiful, and they told all these little mini stories of a guy who was immortal, and it was all his travels through like, you know, through like a mortal world, and I always thought that was really pretty. He tells stories about like, you know, living with like a village, and then like, you know, a little girl from the village like taking a liking to him, and then like, you know, she grows up and then dies, and then it's like, you know, am I supposed to do the same thing to her granddaughter or her daughter? Like, what's this cycle of life and death? I don't know. Still, they're still just talking about in this game. I'm sorry for being all over the place. I knew that this was going to be a bit of a sideways playthrough, but like I said, we don't really have much going on whenever I'm just kind of meandering through. Oh, hey, this is where we were before. When I'm just kind of meandering through, you know, an area like this, like just a factory of some sort. Another one of these. Wow, gramophones, I think is the word I was trying to think of earlier, but that's not quite what those are they? I think this is a very funny way to mask loading. So we have several of these. We have to flip that switch that we saw, turn that valve to close that, and then we flip this down. And then this is a real whirligig type mechanic. We wait until this loads all the way up or fills up with whatever, some kind of pressure, and then we release it, which opens that door, and then we can unflip this switch. Like I said, very funny way to mask loading, which I don't know if it matters, because I think we actually have a like a level loading trigger here pretty soon. Flood breach, emergency shutdown in place. So we're going to have to kind of travel down into the depths of this thing to get it fired back up, and then we're going to have to leave it. So you can kind of tell how far we are through the game thus far, and then that, how far is that? Not very. Yeah, see, we're just gonna leave anyway. So it was like, why bother masking the loading if that's all that it was gonna be? I don't know. Quite a few games from this era had masked loading in such a way, but I did think it was cute the first time that I interacted with that, you know, sort of valve. It's like a pressure type deal. It seems like anyway. But like on the 4th or 5th time of doing it in this game, I was like pretty much over it. So anyway, go ahead.
I have such visions to share with thee. If my jaw be unshackled and you harvest the crust from my eyes, make me clean, Landis, that my thoughts and words can unfouled be.
Alright, we're getting a bit to the point now where like I'm debating letting some of that play, because the music is so much louder than the voices in this game. I could sort of adjust it, but I don't know. It's not even like I'm like concerned with like the effort that would go into it. My issue is just like, would it even sound that much better? Oh, lovely. And we've got some old music playing from the gramophone in here. Was there even a reason to come in here? There better be a note or something. Now, I think I had made mention of, okay, let's see what we got. In America, they talk of building their cities to the skies. To me, this seems folly, but perhaps it's simply a case of nation founded without a history of its own. What the hell? What palaces lie buried beneath us? We are digging, excavating, and reappropriating what we find. At the center of the planet, my architect tells me there's a great iron ball. It is the egg of the world. So, you know, he's talking a little bit in like, I can't think of what the word is called exactly, but like, where you're not talking about real things. I don't believe that he actually believes, even though his architect tells him that there's a giant egg in the middle of the world. But instead, what he's talking about is like, it's a flowery language. We integrate the very latest knowledge of chemistry using low levels of laudanum derivative to feed to Jesus Christ. So this is like techno babble. Even for, this is 1899 techno babble about like how well this man's company like treats their product, I guess it is. Now, our character, Magnus, he owns this processing company, and so they process like pigs for slaughter. I don't know if they can them or just like cut them up, string them up. I don't know how that would have went back in 1899, but that's what they do. They are like the end of a slaughterhouse. Now this is some kind of in a liquid. Let's see. Fueling pumps, volatile chemicals in use, highly corrosive. All right. Headed back. I think we've tried that door. There's a gutted pig. That's gross. That was another thing I didn't really like about this game, is there's so few things to play with. Like in the first game, I'd have been able to move those bottles, and I'd have been able to move that bag and that crate, but no, not in this one. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about like the shortcomings of this game versus Oh dear, that pig moving kind of creeped me out. I wasn't really paying attention to it, so that's why. Now, I think that is our exit over there, but I do want to get a feel for the area. So we got another node here. Imagine, they say, a machine one day that might think like a man, as if this is to be desired. One might almost boast of creating a man who breeds like a pig. Jesus God, how gross. So a few things. Our character is like, why build a city in the sky when we can kind of build one underground, or maybe underwater and call it, not Atlas. What do they call that place in BioShock? Rapture. That's right, Rapture. Oh my God. My head was gonna explode if I couldn't remember that. Opening up to the city streets of whatever town that we're in. I can't even remember that. Wow, this is such a bad playthrough. I've talked about superfluous family shit. I've talked about 2 other games, and I don't even know the setting. Anyway, I think I can see our children over here. This is the St. Dunstan's Church, and we've got like a car that's kind of in the way. I guess we could read the note here, huh? How in the blazes are we supposed to meet these damn schedules if even the basic equipment that we are provided will not perform its designated function? Yeah, true. So this vehicle is kind of a piece of shit. You could probably read a little bit more about what that vehicle even is, but it sounds like it's got a dead battery, so I guess we'll work on fixing that. I hear that we've got like some electrical static, and so we can grab this. I don't know if you would call it more like a fuel tank or a battery. I was always kind of, whenever I first played, a little bit half and half on that all the times that I ever saw this. I think we're going to go ahead and call it like a fuel reservoir. Kind of in the same way that like this is like a little fuel tank, I guess, if you want to imagine it that way. Alright, so I'm trying to shoehorn my way in here because we had that chemical dispenser that we saw earlier. Now, it's going to kind of imply that a monster is chasing us here, and I don't know if that's true, but we're not going to spend very long here anyway, so don't worry about that. Alright, so we will hook this up and then drain that chemical, whatever it is. I always thought it looked like, wow, it's from Powerpuff Girls, Chemical X. I thought it kind of looked like that. Oh, and I think it's full. No, it just stopped me for some reason. Anyway, we are just about finished here. I hear a lot of stairs to my side with some very heavy monster on it. You know, I think so a machine for pigs. We've already talked about that a little bit. Oh, and there is banging on that door. Certainly don't want to be here for much longer. Let me close this door. Once again, gonna at least make them chase me a little bit for it. Oh, the pigs. So we're going to see pig monsters throughout this game. I don't think that's I don't think that's much of a secret here in 2025. But it kind of reminds me of the Pigsy creature from the Manhunt games. And I can't remember how I managed it, but I think I also talked about the Manhunt games in the last game, but I don't remember the context. Anyway, so we take our battery here and we put it in this vehicle. We once again got another, I keep calling them luchador masks. I guess they're probably more like Aztec masks. I don't think they revered pigs though, did they? I guess it doesn't matter. Now, if you can believe it, that's all we had to do to that car. Yeah, the puzzles don't exactly feel that rewarding, but hey, who cares? Anyway, we saw our children playing here earlier in this graveyard. I can't tell if that's a person or a pig. I guess it's a pig. There's its head. Don't know what that's doing in and around here. It's very morbid, to say the least. Anyway, I think where we have to go, I think I'm going the wrong, or I was going the wrong way. What is this over here? Is this the, no, that's a window. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. The kind of the entrance down here. So, walking now into the next level. Every time that we go into the next level, I'm always crossing my fingers whenever there's a screen like this. I'm always so worried that it's going to crash. Anyway, that was a very odd, I don't know if those were passages from the Bible there about livestock, but something about entering her, opening her thighs and entering her. Something about livestock. How gross. Now, what is this room? Oh, we've got a note here on the table. Let's see what it says. Twin candles bent to the will of the central saint, casting their light on the corners of the chapel. Father Jeremiah, I thought, could be trusted with a secret, but he is like all the others. So the old priest has gone to the holding pens with his flock. So it seems like somebody killed that character. Anyway, I'm not so certain that I haven't missed it or whatever, but we are Mandus, and unfortunately enough for us, our company went under. So here's the sit rep. This is me sitting backwards on on like a chair, like one of these kind of chairs. I don't know what they're called. This is me sitting backwards on it. I'm like, let's rap, class. Okay, so Mandus is a man, and he owns a series of factories, and they do pretty well. And he invests a lot of his fortune into making his factories even better. Ah, nice. Thank you for the music. I knew that this was a lovely story. So he invests a bunch of money into making his company even better, but there's a bit of a double-edged sword kind of problem in that they will eventually show profit, but for the time being he now has no money for which to pay his workers or to take care of his family or his estate. So he ends up with no money, and the bank, because they don't agree with what he spent the money on and that he was upgrading his factories, will not extend him credit. So he worries, at least we read through his notes and stuff, about debtors coming eventually to his doorstep. And that's kind of where we are in terms of the story. Well, there's a lot more between A and B, but I thought this was really pretty. I'm going to put this candle down because that's part of a puzzle here in just a second. But, we've got like some Christian iconography, or maybe this is Catholic. I'm not so certain. Probably with the Crusaders Catholic. We've got pigs here on kind of like an altar. I don't think there's anything on this side. Can we open this door? Yeah, I think we can. I just don't know how much there is to actually do here for right now. Anyway, and then we've got like this altar here. Now you might remember that before we had done this with tinder boxes. Now we can do it by hand for some reason. Maybe we have like some kind of lighter fluid or something on us. But anyway, we set a candle there and we twist both of those inwards, and that somehow activates the little furnace type deal over here, which we can crank back, and that slides this altar all the way back. So we were reading a note earlier about like how there's some kind of like a mechanism, and that's what this is. This is the mechanism described. And I think this is an entrance to the factory, a very convoluted one at that. I'm not so certain when you would ever do this. Be a real pain in the ass to go to work like this every day. It's been probably, like just under 30 minutes or something? Real pain in the ass to get to the work like this. So we can hear the boys offering to us to listen to this egg as we could hear the sea through it. What exhumation is this? What rotten fruit? What bestitching of parts? I doubt I will ever be found, yet I leave you this, scrawled in the malodorous half-light, whilst my tormentor shuffles below. Good God. I just wanted to see if I could do that. My turn to make that dark journey into the interior. So somebody wrote a note about like how they're in this area and it seems like their time is drawn near. Now, granted, there are a lot of cages around, and it seems like there's a man in that one. Different people talking in these cages. Of course, it's always so fortunate that the ones that are talking are all covered up so that we don't have to texture an actual man inside of it, huh? Anyway, like I said, I think that we might be coming up on our first encounter with the monster, especially since my flashlight is, flashing so much. I guess I mentioned it's like a lantern, like a torch type deal. Moving on forward from here, let's see. Yes, I do believe we've got, we can see a monster on the other side of these bars. Now, I didn't quite understand what the game was trying to tell me, and then like also what I've read in the community. I guess I could probably read an exact guide on how to deal with like these pigs and stuff. I'm sure you can see nothing because I can see nothing. But supposedly, if you have your flashlight on around these guys, it makes it so that they can detect you even easier. And I assume that's at least in part because we saw how they interacted with electrical technology before, so they probably feel something with the technology whenever they're around it. Now, I take that to mean as long as it's not flashing, I don't have to worry about it. But hey, that's our first encounter with these little pigmen. The fog will not lift. The shift is becalmed. Everybody lies in the half-light, waiting to drown in the dry air. He is the paperweight that ballasts them. And once again, we're speaking in riddles a little bit here. I really don't know what they're talking about. Oh, please, dear God, I think it's crashing. Well, on the one hand, my shit did just crash, but on the other hand, thankfully, it only really crashes in between areas and then it saves between areas, so I've only ever lost a save from a crash one time in this game, which is, considering how many times this game has crashed for me, not all that bad. Now, I did say I started taking precautions, and I did since I just relaunched the game and stuff there. All you have to do is, your game, even if you buy it on Steam, will come prepackaged with a no Steam version. You just click on you just launch it through the no Steam version on Steam, and that's what I do. Anyway, hopping back into the game, it actually has been a day. About a day and a half since I played this last, but that's okay. I reviewed the footage to make sure that I knew where I was at and what I was doing. We just had encountered one of our first enemy pigs, but he wasn't really that much of a challenge, thankfully, so heading down to the piston rooms. Yes, that's right. So we have been told a couple of times already that there is water that is flooded this machine that we've been hearing about. You know, we keep hearing allusion to. And in the piston rooms, we're going to be able to at least pump some of that water out, I think, or at least make it accessible so that we can pump the water out. It was never made clear to me, or at least in a way which I understood it. So, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to have to do whatever we have to do here regardless. Now, I think if we take the top here, we go upstairs. Yes. There's nothing we can really do here. I think this door is locked. I even think, yeah, that looks like it goes out to the streets, but that door stays locked. So the only thing that I would like to do here is I believe that there is a phone call that we can do. Oh, no, that's definitely not the streets. That's a train. Oh, and I can close the windows. That's kind of cute. The only reason I'm just playing with this shit, yep, is because the phone should ring right now.
Hear me, Mandus. I am compromised. Our contacts must be brief and occasional. Beware the wretches who populate this compound. The way you seek is under the pistons. When you meet the saboteur, you will understand everything.
Okay, so we have to make our way under the pistons, which again is just kind of more, is language, is that an offensive way to say that? I always took it to mean maybe flowery language. Oh, I apologize. I do think language was probably offensive. My apologies. Flowery language. Meaning that, like, they're using kind of superfluous words and, like, words that mean other things because we don't actually have to go under the pistons. We actually have to, sorry, I'm getting in my head now because, like we're actually making some real deal progress here. I think I can go ahead and close this. This one looks just about done to me. We have to fill up these machines with coal. I think that, oh, actually, and on top of that, we have to press a little button on them too to start the fire. It was just using extra words whenever it didn't mean to describe things in a non-literal sense was all that I was saying. We hear a lot of screaming, but I don't think that has anything at all to do with us. I'll say, a lot of the sound design in this game doesn't really have much to do with like your character or what you're doing, which is another thing that I don't necessarily like about this game. Like, at least in the first one, like, creaking usually meant the area you were in was probably about to fall apart, and a lot of times it did fall apart. And of course, I made mention of, like, you can't really interact with, like, very much shit here. More sort of notes here that I can't really... Benefits of a self-regulatory automation, my bad. I thought it was going to go for automaton for some reason. Alright, so this one should be open, and I can't remember, did I light the fire on the other one? Because that's the thing I forgot my last playthrough. I had to consult a guide. I was like, okay, all these things are stocked with fucking coal. Now, like, I know they need coal. What do I do from here? And what I kept forgetting, or not knowing rather, was that I have to press the little buttons on them. In each of these rooms, there's like enough coal, or like one furnace that needs to be lit, and I'm pretty sure that, I don't know, let's see, this is a little test. Nope, looks like we're going to need two coal to fill that one up, but that's alright, because we've got plenty of extra coal in and around the area, probably over here even. Yep, we actually, I grew up with a wood stove, and in our wood stove we used coal, and I didn't know that you could. We had a big wood stove, for context, for people who also use wood stoves, and we didn't use it to cook, we used it to heat. Obviously, you're not going to want to be heating your food with any coal. But it never really occurred to me until I played this game that, of course, coal comes in like these big, large chunks. I had it in mostly stuff that looked like that, like, not quite dust, but like a bunch of little rocks. Stuff you'd see like whenever you might watch old-timey cartoons about like trains or something, the steam powered trains. Alright, so all of the things are fueled, and we can see the pistons working overtime now. That should allow us to at least go down. Now, I think there's another pig, but it doesn't act as a monster, so it doesn't really matter to us. But it does open this gate down, like lower. I'm really feeling bad about saying, that instead of flowery language. I really apologize. I don't know if the wood stove comment was kind of made it clear enough or whatever. I'm about half inclined to go out and just cut it out, because I feel really, really bad. I grew up in a kind of area where that language was pretty acceptable and stuff like that, and like, I guess it's still acceptable now just based on the kind of area that I live in and stuff, but doesn't mean that you should use it just because you can, because it hurts people's feelings. But anyway, it is rounding the corner here. I know you probably can't see it very well. How about this? My constellation will be, we'll just focus really hard on the playthrough, and if you have a problem with what I said, maybe we could talk about it, and you can understand my apology is sincere. But anyway, moving on. That monster is still over there, and I was reading about kind of the monster's AI in this, and if you flash them apparently with the lantern, that is what would wake them up. So anyway, continuing on, the last time I played this, I don't think I even ran into an enemy. You know what? I ran into one right here. Yep, there it is. That's perfect. And then I sidestepped him, I thought, by, no, not even coming up here. I just kind of went around. I do think the running is probably going to cue him in to where I'm at, but on that same sort of vein of thinking, I think this is our exit here. Yeah, I'm not sticking around for that. I saw he was facing back toward me. Okay. Now, I don't think there's anything really to do here, but I am going to explore this. It kind of sucks because, like, you got rewarded for exploring in the first game because you would, you would have, like, these different, like, resources that you could pick up, like tinder boxes. Oh, nice. They're talking about the orb and suspect my great uncle's presence in his curious condition. So it can be done. So they're talking a little bit about, like, if you can believe it, Mandus's great uncle was actually Alexander. And Alexander, we know from the first game, is kind of like this being from another world, right? He's like from like another dimension, sort of, and so he probably never grew up to have kids, but he still kind of had a legacy, his castle and stuff like that. Now, part of that legacy was, like, obviously his investigation into orbs, and he passed down that legacy to, well, eventually his great nephew, who is Mandus. Now, Mandus, in that time, now that we're kind of moving the story along here a little bit, he went down after the banks, said that they weren't going to give him any more credit. He went down to Mexico with his sons to, hunt up this kind of like elusive treasure a little bit. Well, he assumed, based on, because his uncle was pretty non-specific, Alexander was non-specific, but he just said that there was like a great treasure there, and of course to Alexander, that great treasure to return home and superpowers and this kind of, esoteric... esoteric artifact, like, I would like to have one in my room. I'm sure Alexander would like one to go home, but anyway, I'm getting away. I'm getting lost in the just yapping here a little bit. And of course, this little dumbwaiter type deal is kind of creaking all around me. So anyway, he goes down to Mexico. I think more specifically, like where the Aztecan pyramids are. So probably even digging even deeper into like South American territory. But I'm not quite certain. And he finds this orb, and that's where we're going to pause the storytelling for the time being and pick up the telephone.
Quickly, Mandus, find the entrance nearby. The children weep in the darkness, and the flood waters continue to rise.
All right, so putting more pressure on us to unclog this machine before our children drown. Let's see. In order to facilitate assimilation of tissue groups, so this is like some kind of like tissue bonding thing between two tissues that wouldn't normally bond. Now, in real life, well, I guess that's becoming more and more not true kind of by the day. But the reason that like let's see. They're like, I think even organ transfers, like, what do they call them? Wow, not transfers. That's very clinical. Or not clinical, but that's very, like, business-like. But, like, transplants. That's the word I'm looking for. So we have a machine here. This is actually kind of interesting because we need to get two little white pods for this thing. Now, we've got two places we can go, the low-temperature storage or the holding pens. And we're going to go to the low temperature storage. It doesn't really matter either way. Either way is really... Oh boy, that scared me a little bit. Either way is just not... I was just going to say not that dangerous. And of course I ran smack dab into a pig that scared me. How funny. This has been a very bad playthrough, I think. Anyway, this... let's read the note first. Let's see what it says. Oh, warning. Inflamed it is, burning it does, bleeding from each hole, fore and aft, leaking down my legs. Good God. Blood and excrement. What the fuck? No, I'm good. That's a very, very morbid, gross, dark no. Now, I think we just bring this back, don't we? No. Wait, what the fuck? How did I get so turned around? Oh boy. All right. Anyway, let's just continue on. I like have gotten somehow deviously turned around and. Rounding the corner to the left here, and our little lantern's going haywire. Rounding to the right, we're good. Nope, I do think we are probably being chased, and I don't really have... Oh boy, yeah, there he is. Alright, and then we'll go through this, and I think... Yeah, that door should close behind us, and then he... Ah, shit. Okay. So, that is... It's sort of weird to explain, but we can just drop back in here and pick up the white... another one of those white tube type deals. And we won't have to go through all that hubbub again, thankfully. So, we're getting an idea. I talked a little bit about, like, tissue transfusion. Now... The reason being that it's like even a thing. So you might have noticed that like these pigs, these monsters, stand on hind legs. Now that's a little bit odd, don't you think? And they might have been displaying some semi-human characteristics that we'll see more of throughout the game. And that is because these monsters are a bit of an amalgamation between both human and pig. And that is something we're getting hints of here. And there's like this formula that's called like compound X. Now I know I'd mentioned earlier that, wow, what is it? Chemical X is what this stuff kind of reminds me of a little bit. This little black gunk substance that we're going to run into. Now I'm getting just a little bit... not turned around, but not recognizing where we're going so much. But I do remember that, like, all roads kind of lead to home in this. Like, you really can't get too lost. Another batch of imbeciles today. They are the sorriest specimens of humanity I've ever seen. No one asks where they go. So, like, a lot of people are apparently being captured for these kind of experiments. And they get put in with, like, the livestock. I don't think that... Yeah, that door is locked. I kind of like the running water here. I think running water in a lot of these games is really pretty. Now, let me think of what I might think is the prettiest moment in this game, because oh, nice, this door opened. That's cool. I remember in the first game, I'd said that I thought the prettiest moment was this little fountain segment. And I'm trying my best to remember what the prettiest moment might be. Oh, easy now. Oh shit, that scared me. It scared me a little bit. I'm being hounded. Or pigged, I guess, rather more aptly. No, I don't think I got time for a phone call. Maybe I got time for a phone call. It seems like he stopped chasing me, so that's good. Hello?
The lift has been sabotaged. You will have to find another way to the tunnels. Take care in this place, Mandus. It is the crucible of the evil that stalks these corridors.
Alright, well, the lift has been sabotaged. Not that I really thought I was going to be able to get the quick and easy way out of here anyway. Excuse me, moving on. Now, let's see, we've got some, not mist, what's it, steam that's blocking our way. I would kind of assume that that's hot. And I think this should give us another one of the white tubes. No, but we do have white tubes over here, so I'm going to go ahead and put this right here, similar to what I did earlier, so that I can continue to explore without, like, having to hound on the left click. Now, we're getting, again, some flashing, which I don't see in this room, right? No, but I do hear the little kids running around, so, now we've got a bear. I doubt we'll have well, I guess we could still get chased going through this hallway. I guess the pig could kind of force his way in behind us. More experiments with Compound X. Took the dog and injected it with strychnine? I don't know. After the expected convulsions and spasming, it just died after midnight. I immersed the body in large tank of Compound X. So this Compound X actually is like letting some, would we call it transfusion? Maybe not in the traditional sense of the word, but between two bodies. Now, something I kind of wondered about, like, what even would be the application of a thing like this? Now, of course, I guess some kind of, like, if your skin could be made out of, like, the same sort of tenacity as, like, a rhino's, that would be kind of nice. If you're, I don't know what all else. If you could have, like, wings like a bird, if it would work like that, that would be nice. All right, so this actually might get a little loud. I'll fix it in the audio, but you might hear my commentary peak a little bit. But this machine's sort of weird. We attach it with two of these little white tubes that you had seen, and I didn't really understand what was happening the first time that I played this. I was really confused, but it actually gives us a black tube of substance, and what we do with this is we take it up to where we saw the little dentist chair looking thing. You know, very funny, I actually have to go to the dentist tomorrow. Oh man, at least I'm only going for a cleaning, but I'm not feeling great about how great I haven't been flossing this year, so that's my bad. But anyway, so the dentist chair, we put what is Compound X on that, and we put this light onto it. Apparently Compound X does not react very well with electricity, which is at least in part why the pigs, as they walk around, they have like a bunch of that Compound X in them, and they also cause the electricity to sort of malfunction. Now, considering that Compound X there actually just exploded, I wonder if that doesn't mean, like, if you used, hold on, I am trying to go down, if you used like enough electricity on one of those pigs that it wouldn't just up and explode on you. Alright, dropping down, hey, and into the next level we go. Now, I don't think we had a level transition quite like that in the first game. I was almost a little bit afraid there that I went to the wrong area. The bottle of gin was empty, sleep seemed impossible, above the skyline of London. Oh, we're in London. He could only see the temple rising from the smog. Oh, man. I spoke a little bit about kind of like flowery language in this, and then maybe that's used effeminately. I just mean it in terms of like using wordage that like, puffy wordage. Maybe that's what, I won't even get near to that, but like puffy wordage. Ooh. A lot of gunk in here. Now, is there anything behind us, though? Apparently, we're, like, down in the sewers, and I have never been a big fan of sewer levels in video games, but this one actually isn't too bad. Once bled, the product must be scalded, dehaired, and scraped ready for gambrolling and evisceration. I think that this whole note talks about, like, how efficient this company is in a certain sense, as far as, like, you know, this is a kind of like a meat processing plant after all, so it's saying how good it is. Like, you know, they dehair the pigs, they get them all ready for butchering. Now, I've only ever just butchered pigs. I haven't done the whole kit and caboodle they're talking about here, at least as far as I assume they would like can these pigs or something like that. Now, we've got something in the water kind of stomp-assing around. I don't think we actually like they're never that big of a concern, but sort of keep them in mind because we can talk about them a little while later. Moving on, it does kind of sound like we've got just like a regular pig around. Oh yes, we can round this corner here and see just one of them meandering about like a normal one, not one of the water ones. The water ones, to my knowledge, are, again, invisible. Much the same way as we had an invisible enemy in the last game, and I hear a invisible enemy down there. If you go to, like, come down and into the water, I'll just kind of showcase this, and then I'll get away. You can see them sort of walking around. As I understand it, those are like failed experiments with this Compound X, and then we'll see what turns out to be a successful experiment for this Compound X soon enough. Several of the older forms have breached their containment, so apparently some of these older monsters are breaching their containment and escaping into the sewers. They remind me of my limitations. This is no Chelm, and I am no Eli-How? Whatever, I'm not gonna bother. These are damned places now, the abode of failed experiments, ghosts of fear and spite. Now, I thought... Oh, yes, there is a valve that I actually have to rotate here, the sluice 1. Now, I don't know that I'll let this play out because the sluice is very loud. But it's not that big a deal. All it is the man on the phone telling us that we have to be quicker. A lot of pressure to like always be like faster in this game, at least from that man on the phone. He's like, you know, please, Mandus, you got to be faster. Your kids are drowning after all, please. So I still heard that monster stomping around, and I think there's a second sluice. I always knew him as sluice gates, I think, but I can't remember where I'd ever even heard that from in the first place. Maybe in like a Jack and Dexter game. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But we're in the sewers. I've never been a big fan of sewer levels in video games, but here we kind of are. This one, as I mentioned before, isn't really all that bad because, like, the only enemy that you could, like, there's no chase sequences exactly, so you're never really in any danger with these, you know, enemies in this area. The only way that you can ever be in danger really is if you put yourself in danger. I guess technically there are some water segments in the game as a whole, but I don't that where you're actually in danger, but I don't actually think that is in this level anyway, this sewerish level. Now that is the area we drop down into, and since we turn that first sluice, we can go through this door, which has now been open. It's kind of weird. I don't really feel like I'm turned around necessarily, but it is, if you don't really have like a very good grasp on like drawing out a mental map in your mind as you're walking around in a game like this, you're probably going to at least struggle. Now, I don't know how much I want to mess around this direction. Oh, okay. It was just one of those pigs walking around. Hey, at least as long as those are closed off, I'm happy enough to walk near them. Look, my darlings, can you see it? And they said, yes, Daddy. Yes, we see it all. A tall weather cap of a steel-sided pyramid. Oh, so this is like whenever they got to the pyramids, these Aztecan pyramids, how similar they look to the pyramids in Egypt. I wonder if they were going to go for a kind of, in terms of like the overall story, like trying to bring together the pyramids across the world. I don't know. I know that in real life there's a lot of talk about you know, the pyramids and stuff, so in like at least being connected to aliens and like, you know, how could humanity have done them. Anyway, another one of those airlock segments. Do it just the same way as we did before. Nothing different than whenever we did it the last time. I don't know, maybe they aren't masking loading, but if they aren't masking loading, they certainly aren't very fun. Okay, and then now we should be able to drop this switch and continue on. Now, ooh, this area actually looks a lot cleaner than the last sewer area that we were in. Now, having said that, though, there's still a lot of flashing lights, so gotta stay on our toes. Oh my goodness, look at that. Looks like a little pig dinner down there. I have to be getting chased, right? No, they're just kind of walking around. Well, they can't be, the electricity can't hurt them too much if they have electrical lights down there, so. Anyway, this looks like a sort of home for pigs. You know, they've got a machine for pigs, but what about a home for them? As we're walking around here, we can open some of these like little hatches to see pigs just chilling. This one looks like it's stacking blocks, even though we can't really see it all that great from our angle. But anyway, moving on. Okay, let's see. No. Oh, here's one. I just kind of want to show, let's see, like eating. Maybe this one's writing. I know we'll eventually run into one who's eating. Maybe it's actually in the next room, the one that's eating. No, that one's sleeping. Not that I guess it really matters all that much, but we can just see more human-ish characteristics, or at least, what do they call it whenever you, personification, like, you know how humans personify things, like sometimes like trees, they, like, we call, the arms of trees arms as a way of like personifying them, like, you know, we kind of understand anyway that like the, pigs, or at least, you know, kind of people, sort of. Anyway, we're in some pipes now. Now, as I was going around these pipes, this struck me so much like a moment from Lost in Vivo. Now, obviously, I don't think that they're related in any way, but it was just something that kind of struck me. Now, I am a little bit concerned about, yep, that fall, as things get kind of redder and redder. I don't think that that's necessary, like, you're not intended to take a whole bunch of damage. Maybe if I even crouched there, we might not have taken as much damage. I'm definitely not going down. I might have, wow, I'm actually making myself a little sick with how dark this is. Hold up. Okay. And then let's go down, please. You know what? Fuck it. I can afford to at least drop. Yeah, there we go. Drop there, and then drop down to there. And then, did I? No, I didn't die. I was a little bit worried that I might have there. Alright, so now we've got a... I really didn't like this area necessarily whenever I was saying how much it reminded me of an area in Lost in Vivo. At least the Lost in Vivo area that I'm thinking of had a giant floating rat in it. Alright, no, don't want to go that way, and that's another way up. So we're still we're trying our best to descend down into this machine. Going back up is not the way just yet. Alright, we're just gonna drop down a little bit. So where are we? Flood breach emergency shutdown in place, and using this map, we're very close to the bottom. Alright, what to then? This will probably take us to the next area, I would guess. From Tied to Spine, and who is that third, that shadow, that spirit child in the background, that barely formed, that changeling, that almost lived, that never missed, and now we're getting into really riddly language. Oh man, I hate that, I hate that way of storytelling. I don't think that there's anything kind of holding us up. I would say the church is probably what I would consider the prettiest part of this game, if I'm considering all the parts in this game. Oh, it sounds like we're getting even closer to the children now. They're saying that we're here, which so... we're chasing one of our boys dead ahead. Oh man, it's getting really kind of foggy-ish, and we've got one of those monsters walking around in the water nearby. Alright, well, anyway, we can continue on. I still don't really, I guess the water around here somehow helps the machines sort of run, even though they're flooded right now, so maybe it helped out a little bit too much. Anyway, moving on, what the hell is that? Oh, that's one of our boys. He just disappeared. Wow, might have to watch that one back if you didn't see that. I didn't even really see it. It just kind of looked like a bunch of, kind of rose petals all in one big little area. Alright, so, continuing on, I think we, fall soon? Maybe not. This door is locked. Property of the Mandus, factory. And I guess we could go up this ladder. And did I just see did a pig's head just pop on screen for a minute? It's very late, and I'm kind of bored because like I said, I have a dentist appointment tomorrow, but I don't have to work, so I'm like, you know, about half and half. Like, I'm kind of bored a little bit, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's finish up Amnesia Machine for Pigs. But having said that, it is 11:30 at night, so I don't know, something about it right now feels a little eerie. I thought I saw a pig's head, but it might also be 11:30 at night, so... Alright, moving on. This door, which was sealed before, we can now go through. And this is the room, I think, where we eventually run into some railing that breaks... Or not railing, but the whole catwalk breaks underneath of us. I guess that way has steam, so we can't go that way, but we can go this way, so that's good. Alright, moving on. Whoa, easy now. I knew it was coming, and it still scared me. Oh, man. Oh, what a sorry soul I am. So there are the invisible creatures chasing after us. I would say they're actually not that hard to get away from. I mean, they're just now rounding that last corner, so, alright, so I don't think there's anything that well, actually, we might have to go that way. Yeah, because this way is sealed off. And then this way is the way that the steam was, and this way is where the catwalk broke. That's right, that's right. I think this is another area where I got semi-lost. Let me make sure that this is the area that I ended up in before I mention it. Yeah, so there's like this ladder. This is such a weird segment. So there's this ladder that you can drop down, right? And once we get to the bottom, we just fall down. And I was like, well, this is fucking weird. You know, what are you supposed to do now? The only thing you can do is take some viscera here and just throw it up and knock the ladder down. I don't know what the point of this is. There isn't even a note down here, so whatever. Anyway, continuing on, sorry, even now on a replay through, like, I knew that there was nothing down there, but I was hoping I might have a better answer now having visited it twice. I was hoping maybe there would be a note down there or something, but no. So out this way, yeah, because this is the way, so this is where the catwalk fell. I'm just getting in my head a little bit here. Oh boy, these late night recording sessions, they get to you. Not exhausting, it's just like you start seeing ghosts is all I'll say. Alright, I believe we have to repair this. How's this look? Oh, nope, I just dropped the gear. I really, man, it's like whenever you're working on your car, I dropped it in a big way. Okay, you know what we might do? Let's just put that down there for right this very second. And I don't want to turn that just yet. I think there's a note around that says that we have to fix it, but, I don't see anything. Maybe that now we take this smaller gear. Aha, there we go. So now it's ready to be activated. Another pump of some kind. Okay, and that is working. Maybe that's what that says. Ensure all wheels are in place for correct operation of pumps. Alright, looks like it because the gears are pumping. Also, I think this game takes place in 1899, so it's like 60 years after the first game. Alright, moving on. We've got... This door should be open? Or opening? No, maybe not. Maybe the... Well, now you've got me all kinds of confused. No, we don't go back out that way. I might have to look around a little bit because I am all kinds of confuzzled. Maybe, actually, I see some lights up ahead. Maybe this is the door we have to go through. No. Okay, let me do one more little loop around, and if I can't find it, then I might just have to cut until I'm able to. I don't think that we have to go down this left way. I really just think that there's nothing here. We'll make triple-double sure, though. Maybe it isn't for nothing. I don't know. Maybe I was just... No. There's nothing down there. Okay. Well, one last little loop around, and if I can't find it, I guess I'll have to find it myself. Okay. Moving on. More mist that way. Maybe I'm supposed to go back there? Or... No, because there's nothing here, and this gate's locked. Alright. You know what? Let's just go to the right here and see if I can go through this this steam. No. Okay, so I am like locked to this side. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll be back in just a second because I don't know what I'm doing wrong. 1 second. Oh, you know what? I just thought of it. I think we go back down to this catwalk here. Because now it doesn't have the water creature on it or whatever because the floodgates are now open. Okay, I gotcha. And for some reason, those pigs or whatever, the like a little electrical monsters can only step on the water. So, shrug. Whatever that's all about. All right. Hopefully, we're just about done with this area. It's a little bit loud. I'm just kind of a little bit over it. I want to get on to the exciting part of the story a little bit. Okay, the gate is up. The door is sealed. Like I said, aren't you really enjoying these segments? I think Dead Space did this, but I don't remember Dead Space doing it that much. Or at least at the time, it would give you little things on your comm. It would be like, Isaac, there's a lot of monsters destroying the engine right now, and you'd have to deal with that. All right. Anyway, moving on. I always like whenever that calms down and gets back quiet. Another door, and we're at the core systems access. The children dancing. He obsessively scans the newspapers and periodicals for new inventions. Oh, okay. I guess that's a good way to keep yourself on your toes. You just kind of look at the paper every day. You know, JFK actually kept himself abreast of current events by reading the paper every day. That's one of his big things. Crawled into my bunk, all sick and sweat-ridden. They cleaned my room about me, but I can only hear the voice from within that gentlest of stones. It sings to me, and I dream of a great machine. So it kind of looks like Mandus dreamed of some kind of a great machine that we're going to see here soon enough. Hold up, I'm getting hung up on the basic architecture of the level. Alright, okay, continuing our way down into the depths, but we should be at some kind of a core access here very soon. No unauthorized persons to enter this facility by order of the management. Hey, that's me, don't even worry. I give myself permission. And yeah, I think, like I said, it's very Bioshock, but without being completely underwater all the time. I don't necessarily, well, I guess in part anyway, it's like the steampunk, the old kind of scratchy, I think in Bioshock they were called voxophones. But in this game, I don't know. I like that they have speakers around to play music. That would be nice enough at work. Well, I guess it's not to play music. It's probably to announce, like, this place is flooding. Do something quick. Get out of here. I also don't know how you could work in an area that floods constantly. That's all I would be thinking about. Would be like dying to flooding. It's these things get like more and more popular as kind of the years go on. We don't have anything going on, so I can talk about it. These things get more and more popular as the years go on. But like cave diving stuff, like you see like people go like cave diving and then it starts to rain, and so they're like they get trapped in there, die or whatever. Now that opens the avenue to something that kind of neighbors it, which is like people who work underwater and do like underwater welding and stuff, so they get into pipes, and that's like welding somewhere that's like meant to be underwater, but isn't currently. Oh boy. So this is the machine. Again, still not quite so certain what it is right now. Also don't think, what is this? This is the, no, can I open this? Okay, yeah, we can go ahead and do what we have to do down here. I think this is the rod control room. So you can see we've got switches that we can flip, and some of them we can flip and some we can't, but we want them all lit up. Looks like, nah, maybe, because it'll give us like a hell of a noise, I think, whenever we can't switch one of these. Yep, that one's not one we can switch. Let's try, whoop, wow, it's really finicky, the switches. Okay, 6 was good, and 1 I can't quite get to flip, so we'll have to go down and fix those two. This is called, just to make sure, System Offline Manual Restart Required. Wow, so that thing actually reads what kind of the problem is. I didn't realize that those were probably updating in sort of real time. I just figured that they would be descriptions of whatever room we were in. Moving on, and down to here. There is, it said that we're going to have to do a bit of a manual restart. Let's go ahead and let's just drop down. Aha, here we are. So you can see every time we've been flipping one of these, it's been like depressing like one of these rods into these containers. So we can open that. I just want to make sure that they're all open. This one's ready to go. I think I just need to flip switch one a little bit better. I am glad that it gave us the opportunity to flip those. I just don't know why. It didn't really feel like we accomplished very much. It also didn't feel like a story was really told there. And I don't even think we're going to get jump scared on the way back. So, whatever. It does feel the whole time like as you're reactivating this machine, like you're reactivating the machine, if you get where I'm coming from. Like, it feels like what you're doing a little bit. All right, so switch over. Now you know that you just gotta, oh, you know what? It might also just not be working because the previous rods need to insert first. Okay, so that's able to depress fully, and this should say probably Nope. I thought it would say like all good, ready to go, but that's okay because that is what it is. All good, ready to go. I thought maybe also things might light up out here a little bit. I actually think the wiki page is like this thing just slightly lit up. So I still was never really sure what this machine is, but okay. It's saying that the air is thin and that our children's faces are turning blue, and again, just giving us a lot of artificial we need to hurry. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to let a lot of this audio play out whenever the actual voice starts talking and stuff.
Now, Mandus, set them free. Set them all free. I live. I breathe again. I rise. I will rise to bleach the sky and still the water. I will spin the world wheel and set the future upon the path to redemption.
Where are my children? You promised me my children!
My time is come. More pig. More pig!
Boys, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And, emerging, I raised my head to an uncaring sun, and I cursed this world of pain and despair. This civilization built on the ricketed bones of the unfortunate, on the greed and swell of mammon and empire. Cradling a stone egg in my jacket, I kissed my children farewell, and I crawled my way home.
Well, if I had a nickel for every time that I had been tricked in a steampunkish scenario by a guy over an intercom, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't weird, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it happened twice, right? Anyway, so yeah, it's kind of interesting. The machine has a mind of its own, and it has convinced us to repair it. Our children are actually dead. I think we're in a bit of what do you call it, like denial right now. Children really are the most wonderful, useful creatures. The unfortunates from the orphanage. So this guy was even using an orphanage he was donating money to abduct children for experiments. How despicable. So we have to tear up this machine. This is actually kind of fun, in my opinion, to just destroy this machine. We do this in a couple different parts throughout the game. None of it really feels like it helps all that much, but whatever. So the our children actually died. We had a in Mexico, where we went to visit the Aztec temples, our sons, as we heard in dialogue earlier, ran into one of the orbs, which they called an egg. And we, Mandus, touched it. Well, whenever we touched it, it gave us a vision of the future. It gave us a vision of the 19th century, and it gave us visions of like the atom bomb dropping. It gave us visions of a lot of historical events I'm actually not really aware of. You can read the wiki article for more, but one of the things it showed him a vision of was World War I, and his children both dying on the battlefield. So in a kind of haze, he killed them both on the steps of the Aztec temple and then came home. So his children are dead. Wow, and my irises are minuscule. Holy schmoly, that was bright. I don't even know what we're doing. Oh, nice, and then there's a monster there. Cool. Oh, I think we're still tearing up more shit. What's this say? There's a spoon of medicine, I says, and it's a silver spoon that you did get burn holding. Ever so painful for mummy dear. I don't know any of this shit. But apparently there's even some miswriting in this, because the children died on like a specific date. It appears in whatever, 1899. But from what I read, they actually write notes after they die, so it's either a miswriting on the developer's part, or like Mandus is having like kind of psychological breaks of his children still being alive. So anyway, let's take one of these pipes with us because we needed to go break some more shit. Thankfully, I don't think we get chased around by monsters all that much at this point, so that's fortunate for us. Also, we're not really running very fast, so maybe because we're carrying a pretty heavy pipe. Alright, over on this side, there is one more machine to kind of break. I think that we just just shatter it. Alrighty. And now the monsters start spawning in hot and heavy. Lots of pigs. I think they kind of guide us the direction that we're supposed to go a little bit by, chasing us. Wow. Now I'm really not so certain. This is like the only way I haven't really been yet, I think, so. Oh, and it's a dead end. That's no good. Well, I don't know where we're headed then. Oh, hey, here's a ladder. Where the lights are, of course. Just follow the lights. Video game, design. Alright, lots of shaking, and it feels like it's been very dark for the last little bit, but that's fine because this is actually a really fun segment. Alright, so we should get spat onto the streets of... What did we decide? It was London, right, where we're at? So we should get spat onto the streets of London here fairly soon. I don't think we're overly hurt right this second. I feel like we just keep getting pushed forward and forward at this point, so maybe we're getting pushed forward by the steam. Okay. Anyway... Let's get the fuck out of here, because this place, we've got alarms a-blaring, we've got machinery a-blowing up. Apparently tearing up all this machinery is not really doing much to stop this monster, but yeah, what can you do? Well, it's not even a monster, I guess. It's like, you know, kind of us. It's Mandus's psyche split into two. So there's like a part of him that's like this evil... like engineer who's like super obsessed with like ushering in this new world of like pigs, where like, you know, it's saving humanity from itself by killing it with pig monsters. And then there's us, the good Mandus. Well, I guess it's I think a psychologist would probably call that some kind of escapism from you being evil. But at least in terms of the video game anyway, our soul actually split in two. So, alright, we should be getting spit onto the roads of London here soon. Alright, we're back on the streets of London. I know I just probably already said that, but I'm also back from the dentist. And folks, brushing once a day just isn't enough anymore. I mean, look at these guys. I don't know how they're related, but I'm just trying to bridge. I now have a cavity that'll get fixed next month, and back to the game. Anyway, this is probably my favorite part of the game. I was getting a little bit sleepy, and I just kind of wanted to save... what I would consider my favorite part of the game for, you know, at least when I was more awake or in a better mood or whatever. So we've got like dead corpses. Well, I guess that's what corpses are, dead bodies. And we have, you know, London is kind of in ruins a little bit. I can hear a lot of stepping around, people screaming and stuff. The machine has made their pig army, released their pig army, and are... releasing it on the city. I kind of assume that it's a thing where, like, you know, so the machine releases pigs to capture people, to make more pigs, and, like, kill them and stuff. So, that's kind of where we are. This house doesn't have anything besides this note. No one misses the poor, round up some orphans. So this is more of a note about, like, where we're getting test subjects from, or where we got them from. Of course, now... having seen it come into fruition, we're not not thrilled with what we have become in a certain sense. Because I've mentioned that our soul split, right? I don't know. This just felt really cool to me. It felt, because you can't like fight any of these things, so it doesn't really, you know, you don't really feel like you're supposed to be doing anything necessarily, but like you're moving through the city, you're just barely dodging like monsters, and I don't know, feels pretty cool. Now this is a pretty cool part. There's like a woman who's like, come on in here, but then she gets grabbed by a monster and drops a note. We have set aside an entire wing of the mansion for their parties. We invite them from near and far. So this is a note kind of about how in part Mandus gets test subjects from not only the poor but also the affluent, where he like invites them to his home, and then oh my goodness, lots of pigs. He invites them to his home. He has like a whole wing dedicated to them, and he'll kill them and steal their fortune and stuff like that. I don't know that he steals the whole thing. I didn't really quite understand that. I guess you could probably read that note back, but I know the music kind of kicks on and off and is real intense and not intense in parts, but I don't know. We're here for it. This is still my favorite part. This is still really cool. Stand up and look at myself in the mirror. Oh dear, penis in hand. That's going to be a rather... I don't even think it ends up an erotic note. I just think it's a kind of gross note. There's something else that I wanted to say about all of this, though. Yes, the whole town is kind of falling apart, you know, while we're here. I mean, we're getting what we wanted in a certain sense. We're like, the machine is active. We're ushering in the new century. I thought that this would be kind of cool because, like, you got to remember, this is before like World War II. Well, it's before World War I even. So, like, you know, what was the armaments like then? Like, we were still kind of like, that wasn't even trench warfare just yet, I don't believe. So, I think we get chased by a pig soon. Let me see. I'm sure I'll run into him before I... Yep, there he is. So I was thinking, like, you know, could this have taken off? Like, this would be a cool end-of-the-world scenario. A world that becomes engulfed by, like, these machine pig man monsters. Alright. We did get hit once, and it seemed like he was kind of outrunning us there. Oh, nice. And the gate fell, and... the pig, he's not going to be able to chase us anymore. Whatever. I don't know. I think about, like, a cool game would be, like, sort of, like, facing the end of the world, but not like a linear scenario, but like a, you know, you could make your own end of the world stuff, sort of like Plague Inc. a little bit, but with end of the world disasters instead of just, like, plagues. I don't know. It's just something that I've, like, considered, but I don't really have any technical acumen to actually create anything like that. So the brief amount of time that we're actually spending up in the streets of London have been absolute hell the whole time that we're there. So the city is lost, Olympus has fallen, and my game has crashed. What the fuck? Well, second verse, same as the first. We had a crash there because I got home, and in my... zeal, and what isn't that what they got? In my zeal, I didn't fucking launch this the way I needed to prevent the crashes, and I forgot. I was just kind of excited because, like, again, this is pretty much the rest of this game I like. I'd mentioned, I'd alluded to earlier, like, there's like a boss fight type deal that we'll have coming up here soon, so I don't know. I also think that these little like note things at the top of our levels from now on say weird shit. Stop him, repeated over and over again. Cool. Wow, this area is very loud. Alright, continuing on. I lost pacing a little bit there with the just the game crash. Kind of funny that for some reason, like, the whatever Steam version just causes it to crash so hard. I'm going to open that, and while it's opening, I'm going to come up here and see what we got going on. I actually don't think that... Well, I don't know. I did this last time, too, and I still don't really know what it does, but, so that's like a container of Compound X, and I'm going to take the light and shine it at that Compound X, and then I'm going to go ahead and go forward. Oh, yes, this is like a room that's got a pig in it. This is a puzzle for us, and if we go down here, we'll die, so, we're not going to go down there right now. We've got Compound X, which is currently being electrocuted. I guess we'll just drop down. Oh, this is still opening? Holy shit. I just think it probably didn't open because I wasn't close enough to it. That's the door that's locked. I actually I might kill myself here if I think I might do this puzzle incorrectly if I continue on, but we'll see. Looks like only one way to go forward. It's kind of interesting. This guy has like a, it isn't even a messiah complex, but, he like wants to kill everybody to, you know, cleanse the world. Compound X, no naked flames, no unshielded electrics. I don't think we've seen Compound X get set on fire yet, have we? We've seen it explode, but whatever. Alright, this is kind of cool. There's like these like gears that are grinding down there, and we can stop them by rolling one of these things down and into it. Let's take a look. Nice. It does cause the whole facility to jitter, but now it's done. I want to go down here. I don't even think there's a note down here. I just think you can get closer to the gears, maybe as a bit of a hint for where you should be going and what you should be doing. Alright, done and over with. I thought about putting a second one of these down here whenever I played, just for good measure, but I think they're way too heavy, aren't they? You can like just ever so barely move them, and it isn't really in the position where like, you know how that one there just kind of fell in as I pulled on it? Well, the other cylinders aren't really set up for that. Okay, so this seems like a bunch of Compound X probably draining at our feet now, and this is still fine. I thought this would electrocute us, but thankfully I was wrong. Okay, let's then climb the ladder, and maybe we take the oh no, that can't be right. Hold up. So this room kind of filled to the brim with Compound X. This has been moved back down, maybe so we don't accidentally kill ourselves. Alright, so then we set that to shocking. That should be working currently. I don't know how these are all hooked up where it's actually electrocuting this beast, but it's dead now. What we do want to do for ourselves, as I'd mentioned before, don't want to electrocute ourselves. I'll just put it down, and that should unpower it here in just a second. Dropping down, because that door is sealed from this side. This pig is now dead. Maybe Mandus even set him here to guard this area. What does this say? Pig line central operations. Alright, let's see how we can bust this motherfucker. Maybe just start by rotating whatever this is. Alright. And that surely didn't do it already, did it? Can I like flip some of these switches? Oh dear. Yep, that's doing it. I figure something like this would be fun to do in real life, but very dangerous. Alright, I think this one's properly fucked. So, can we leave? Oh no, there's probably something I have to hit here. No, or is there? Let me keep looking. No, this isn't right. No, I already rotate. Oh, I probably have to continue flipping these. That's right. I gotta break everything in here. I don't know. It's just kind of like on a plane anyway. It looks like it would be fun to hit all the switches and dials and knobs and stuff, but obviously, you don't want to be doing that ever. I can't even imagine on the ground. That would be very good for the plane. Alright. Time to continue forward. If you take that at its word, it kind of seems like we might have fucked up the pig line. Oh, nice. A little note. Walking away from those temples, that small pile of stones under the rhododendrons. I think that this is just like returning home a little bit from the, from Mexico. We can see here two pigs, though, playing with some blocks, which is probably at least in part reminds us of our son. And oh my god, like I said, this is just pretty much hell. So we're sort of working our way backwards here. I don't think it's exactly parallel, but we are the pig. We are all the pig. Ooh, I'm not going to be able to fall down this one. Well, I can fall down it. I wouldn't be able to live it, though, so we'll just descend like normal. Here's somebody hollering in the way off distance. Now, I thought about, like, I wonder if, like, the, you know, London's army or whatever, or England as a whole's army, if they would be able to, you know, fight back against this. I don't know. Continuing on, I think we're just saying some poetry about, you know, our experience. Like, not tonight, but as a whole. Alright. Continuing down this way. I don't think that they're saying anything important. We must be near to the church, because I can see the stained glass windows. Also, speaking of the preacher, he wanted to meet the engineer for the longest time, which he didn't know was us necessarily. So we tell him that we'll introduce him to our engineer, and I believe that we end up killing him. Mandus does. Alright, anyway, moving on. I think I can see our boys in the way off distance. We are the pig, Professor. We are all the pig. Damn. Big blood-soaked area here. I guess you'd probably need it for a factory, huh? I wonder if there's any good that you can do with the blood that comes out of, like, a slaughtering factory. Probably, and they probably use it well. I just am not aware, whatever it is. And our boys tear out their hearts. Kind of crazy to think that they were killed on the Aztecan steps. Are we really? Nah, we still have a while to go. I was like, is this the end of the game? No. Because there's a monologue that I want us to hear, because he explains pretty much the rest of the story of the game and, like, tells it in a good way, so... Alright, moving forward, we're just in a complete blood canal. A little bit like hell we're in right now, which is probably deserved. Okay, well, sorry, Mandus's yapping really doesn't do much great work for my commentary here. Sorry, it just feels like I'm talking over somebody, and neither of us give a shit what the other one's saying. A little bit, because all his shit's gonna be poetry, and he doesn't know I'm talking. How rude, he's not listening. I say, hey Mandus, you've been a bad guy, and he doesn't say anything back. Dead bodies here, but I mean, besides the fact that, you know, we're kind of steeped in the corpses of people, so it's not really, this really doesn't do it for me. 2 corpses here at the bottom of our factory. Alright, moving on. I think that's been the entirety of this level. Surely we've got that boss fight I was talking about coming up here fairly soon. The veil lifts. The bride is waiting. Round up some orphans in the world will thank you for it. Disappear a whore and a gentleman applauds you. Cull a beggar and a lady walks safely again. So that's like some poetry about like how he justifies it to himself to like capture and kill these people. Alright. It's kind of interesting. The machine has like all these ambitions to cleanse the world in like through Mandus's plan, because it is us. It's like the evil parts of us. I don't know. Man, he is really yapping a lot here at the end, isn't he? I guess if he doesn't have phones to call us and harass us through, this is the next best way, just over the intercom system. Oh, hey, maybe we're going down. I see this fucking... I don't know. What's this say? Oh, it's just ellipses, so there's nothing up there. I don't know. Let's turn the light off. So we were down there, and then it kind of looked like we came up here, and now we're over fucking here. Oh, hey, there's a note. If you should find this, then you already know all I would tell you. You already know what you've done, what you must do now, walking away from those temples. In this instant, cradling my children's heads in my palms. Oh, yeah, I should mention, like, why we don't remember this at the beginning of this game. We've got some kind of a sickness at the very beginning of this game that makes it so that, like, we were in a haze for months. So it's kind of like the beginning of the last game. We didn't know that we had done all the things that we had done because we took an amnesia potion. Here I don't know what we had, but like kind of grief-induced sickness a little bit. This boss is cool, but it is not very fun. I find the best way, if I'm not able to show it off very successfully, I find the best way to handle it is to just do it as quick as possible. So, I think this creature is, like, extremely sensitive to your light. Like, even if you have it on, it will, like, give him where you're at, like, your position. And I do think that we're here, like, for the boss fight. I mean, I hope I'm not pulling the trigger too early. This is a successful version of those failed experiments that I was talking about earlier. So those, like, watery guys, those are failed experiments, the invisible ones, but these are successful experiments that we're about to run up on. I think this was completely useless the way I went, and then that going up that ladder is where we were before. What do I do, just try this? Oh, okay. Well, that other way was completely useless. I don't really... I wish that I had gotten an idea of what this map is. Mandus Processing Company, Orgone distribution tanks, maintenance access, whatever. No, I'm still not seeing the boss arena. Okay, maybe this is it. Yeah, I see the switches coming up. Okay, so we will have to deal with that here in just a second. I We'll see. I'm gonna try to show the boss off, but I'll probably end up dying to him in the process. So as we come in, we'll get like, I think the lights will kind of shut on and off. It might even be in our best interest to shut our light off. The boss has probably spawned. I hear him. Oh yeah, he's right there. He's about half invisible. You know, he flashes a lot. I don't really like that. And he's still kind of following us. I guess, you know, all things being equal, I might just be able to go to the switches. But he's just a big electrical pig guy. And like I said, it's that's what those watery things are supposed to be. Like the things in the water are supposed to be what he is. Wow, I'm really not having nearly as much trouble with this as I did the very first time I played, because worse comes to worse, even if he sees me, I'll be able to take my I'll be able to make a break for the switch here. Oh yeah, I'm not dealing with that. Okay, well the lights are on now, so because of the electricity, I presume, it either hurts or kills him and causes him to run off. Wow, I can't believe that was the boss fight. The first time I played this, I died to him like 3 times. Alright, moving on. But that's not the last time we'll see him, for better or worse. What's down? No, these are just all kind of closed off areas. Nothing important in them. Another useless area. Moving on. Oh, hey, next level. Cool. Mantis descending among the spirits. The Aztecs believed they could avert the apocalypse through sacrifice. Oh, okay. I don't remember how the Aztecs died. I remember watching the movie 2012, and I was kind of interested in like the end of the world from that, but I don't know. I was gonna say like I think that I might let this play out, but this isn't quite what I am thinking it is yet. There's like this big long hallway where he like talks about a lot of really important stuff that I'm gonna let play out. Also looks like there's children's toys around here. I don't know so much if that's for the monsters or for our children who were down here. I'm kind of lost on the timeline on that one. Alright, and a bear. We'll just oh, I can pick it up just ever so barely. Oh wow, I can't even pick it up that well. And into the machine. Wow. What's this note say? Memories. They surface like bloated bodies rising to the scum of the Thames. Wow, I really need to go back and refresh on some old school history. I really liked at least Roman history whenever I was younger. And you would learn a lot of these older names of places and stuff. Alright, we should have the... Now, I said before that I had trouble with that boss fight and didn't this time. I wonder if it's going to be the opposite for here, because this isn't even really the boss fight, but I didn't struggle with this very much. So, it's like a, I don't know, red light, green light segment a little bit, but not even really, for fans of it, oh boy. Oh man, that spooked me a little bit. At least it didn't cause me to jerk my mouse. Oh, I was having some trouble with that earlier. Okay, so I'm gonna put my light down. It looks like he's coming at us. I'm gonna let's see. Let's go to at least here. I might get hit. No, it looks like we're fine. Oh nope, there he comes. Oh, and we're dead. I can't even really see him. Should I be mad? Well, he disappeared. But I think he like starts at like one end of the areas that he spawns and then works his way towards you. Oh, we're not going that way. Works his way towards you, and unless like he sees you, and then, you know, of course he'll attack you. We'll just shut the door. Cool. And then I think we get another like warp. Yep, and we're back to where we were. So it was like a weird little side area. No, I didn't have trouble, but I did get hit there at least. So I think we are headed up to some like a ladder-ish area. But was there a sign around here that described what the fuck kind of area we're in? At least if I see like the name of the area we're in, I can get an idea of what we're doing here on the whole. We're looking for a ladder in one of these corners, so I'm not just wholesale lost, trust me. Alright, there's a ladder. And then up here, there's a lot of stuff we can break. We're getting to the kind of final throes of the game. Like, I'd say we're done in like 5-6 minutes. So, finish your snacks up quickly, folks, is what I'm saying. No, we like turn on these. They aren't even like Tesla coils, I don't think. I've never been a guy who understood. Well, I never really had the brain for any kind of like electrical engineering stuff. It's like the same way. You know, I liked very basic science. I like science kind of. Biological science is something that I kind of still understand a little bit, but I never really had the brain for the mathematical sides of things like physics or medicine or, well, I guess those aren't necessarily, well, chemistry kind of dips into mathematics. Anyway, leaving, hopefully, or at least continuing on forward. So, at a certain point, as we continue on from here, we'll have like a little cutscene type deal. Whoa, a heart. And I think we get a level transition here. I'm lost in the dry paper soul of the world, he says. Nice. Enoch, Edwin, Oswald, and I. Enoch and Edwin are the brothers, I thought, right? I don't know who Oswald is. Alright. Anyway, yes, I'm gonna let this play out. Listen.
I know you are with me. You created me to save the world. I am your friend. Mandus, please, I am no more evil than you. We sought the same thing, to save humanity, ridding them of their painful, stupid, pointless lives. Mandus, stop. Think about what you are doing. For your children, Mandus.
Do not speak of my children, monster.
I did not kill your children, Mandus. You sacrificed them on the temple steps, knowing what the coming century will do to them. Your sons will drown, lungs full of mud and shrapnel on the banks of the Somme. You wanted to save them from the horror to come. That is the vision we shared. Everything we have built to avert this coming nightmare. You and I are one. We are the same. Our souls are entangled. We deserve to make them free. Have stood knee-deep in mud and bone and filled my lungs with mustard gas. I have seen 2 brothers fall. I have lain with holy wars and copulated with the autumnal fallout. I have dug trenches for the refugees. I have murdered dissidents where the ground never thaws and starved the masses into faith. A child's shadow burnt into the brickwork. A house of skulls in the jungle. The innocent Mandus trod and bled and gassed and starved and beaten and murdered and enslaved. This is your coming century. They will eat the Mandus. They will make pigs of you all, and they will bury their snouts into your ribs, and they will eat your hearts. Please, Mandus, no. For your children.
I lay there and watched the god I had created die. At the end, when we were cold as the stone we had hewn his body from, when the lights were nearly all extinguished, we heard, in the silent distance, the man-pigs singing to one another. Then, as the last lights were gone, and we lay together in the deep, they drifted away, and all was silent. Such a silence I have never known. And as the dust settled on my open eyes, and we lay together embraced forever, I heard, miles above us, the sounds of the city turning over in its sleep. A church bell ringing out. And in that moment, the new century was born.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Amnesia, Machine for Pigs. Pretty cool stuff, right? So this game only has one ending in contrast to the last ending, or the last game, which had several endings, 3 of them, and the future games, which I believe have, again, several different endings. This game, pretty good. I like at the end there, the kind of poeticness that comes to, like sacrificing yourself on top of what looks like an Aztec pyramid to stop the end of the world. That's pretty cool. The new year, the new century rings out, the 1900s. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I would like the story. It's cool enough. They just stripped down the gameplay where it was kind of boring, and really, I got kind of bored in the Let's Play a lot, and I just started talking about random bullshit. That's kind of my bad. Anyway, yeah, I guess since that's the end of the game, there's really nothing else for us to talk about here for Amnesia Machine for Pigs. Next game coming up is Amnesia Rebirth in terms of the Amnesia games. I don't know, that one's supposed to be much longer, and I've never even seen anything on that one, so we will see when that will come out. I'm glad to play these 2 old ones, though, because I was always curious what made Amnesia The Dark Descent so good, and Amnesia A Machine for Pigs so bad in contrast, and now I kind of know. But yeah, that's it. I will see you guys all next week. Later!